Hey everyone, welcome back. It has been a hot minute. Chris here. I'm doing another collection video. Last time we did a collection video was last November, and now it is September 2022, so time certainly has flown. So I've been wanting to do a collection video for the past few months because, as you can see, my collection has definitely grown. The problem is IKEA has been out of stock of Detolfs for a large chunk of that time. So as I kept getting figures, some of them like on the endgame shelf, I could just kind of put them in the spaces they were already kind of designated for. But when it came to new figures or new properties and stuff like that, I didn't have anywhere to put them. So they were kind of piling up on this table. I would just kind of line them up in a row while I waited for IKEA to get a Detolf in. But good news. Finally, 3 weeks ago, I did get that in stock alert. So we got a new Detolf. There's some new figures. There's some old figures you may recognize. But either way, now that it's all set up, let's go in for a look. So starting back over here in our old DC Arrowverse shelf, we've got two versions of the Arrow. We've got the old costume and I think that was season 5 through 7 costume. We have the Flash. I decided not to get the Hot Toys one because while it had a really nice sculpt and a really well done costume, at the end of the day, I kind of like my custom more. So we've also got a Zoom and a Supergirl. John Constantine. I think that character was definitely done a bit dirty in Legends of Tomorrow, being erased like that. And a Tyler Hoechlin Superman. So this one's also a custom. I'm hoping, though, now that Superman and Lois is actually a TV show, they might actually put up out an official figure for him, because I started this custom like 5 years ago, and as you can see by the lack of cape, I never finished it. So moving down here to the action movies shelf, we got Neo, John Wick, and his two dogs. Not that one, that's Einstein, but I think the dog's name was Daisy behind him. We have got Agent K and Deckard from Blade Runner 2049, underrated film, and Marty and Doc from Back to the Future Part 2. So one big announcement that Hot Toys has made over the past few months is that we're going to be getting more Back to the Future figures. We already got a reissue of Marty that's actually where this dog is from. But we're also getting a Part 1 Doc as well as a Part 3 Marty and Doc, which means that these two, along with those upcoming figures, eventually are going to get their own shelf. Moving down here, this used to be a video game shelf, but recently it has just been dedicated to Arkham entirely. So we have the Arkham Knight Harley Quinn new figure, the Joker, the Batman from Arkham Knight, as well as a Deathstroke. A couple characters that I'm really hoping they make going forward is a Mr. Freeze and a Scarecrow. I did not get Batgirl because honestly it feels weird not having her with the rest of the Bat family, but if they do end up doing a Robin and a Nightwing, I'd be very happy to pick her up too. Moving down here to the 80s shelf, we have got versions of Michael Jackson from Thriller, Bad, Beat It, and Billie Jean, as well as this new Freddie Mercury figure. I forget if I had him last time. Steve Jobs, and a custom Marty McFly that I made way back in 2013 before any of these figures were available. Going over here, this is the Marvel Netflix shelf. We got Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, The Punisher, Luke Cage, Ghost Rider, and Daredevil, who, as many of you may have known, recently was told he is not only going to pop up in the She-Hulk TV show, but also is coming back for his own series. Apparently, though, it's going to be a reboot. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but Charlie Cox is involved, so it must have some merit to it. At the very least, I'll check it out. Moving up here, it's the Captain America shelf. We've got the Star-Spangled Man cap, the World War II cap, the Part 1 Captain America, also from World War II, the two versions from Winter Soldier, although Hot Toys did announce that this one is getting a remake. It's not up on Sideshow yet, but it looks really, really good. It's technically not from Winter Soldier. It's when he wore the strike suit in Endgame, but still, that's one of the ones I can't wait to get. This one, honestly, even back in 2014, this figure was a little bit ill-proportioned, so it's really nice that this is getting a remake. So on the back, we've got Red Skull, a third-party Peggy Carter, and the Winter Soldier from the sequel film. Moving up here to X-Men, not much has changed here. We've got Storm, Iceman, Cyclops, still my favorite X-Men, Magneto, Logan from Logan, and another version of Wolverine from The Wolverine. Now, moving up here, one big brand new shelf. It's actually this Lord of the Rings shelf. So over the past few months, I've become a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I know it's kind of weird that these movies were around for like 20 years, and I never really got into them. But now, that has changed, as you can see. So we've got a Legolas, Gandalf, and Aragorn. Legolas and Aragorn are from the Battle of Helm's Deep, as well as a Frodo, a Sam, and a Bilbo. And I'm really looking forward to adding a Smeagol here too in the future. As well, there's room for one more adult-sized character in the back. So I'm thinking maybe Galadriel or a Ringwraith. I don't know, what do you guys think? Moving over to here, this is the Nolanverse shelf. We have got a Batman Begins Batman, Dark Knight Batman, still the DX12, but it does have a custom cape. The brand new version of Harvey Dent, Bane. Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, a unmasked Bruce Wayne, this is the very old DX02, as well as a third-party Scarecrow. Still need to add a Heath Ledger Joker and a Ra's al Ghul to this, so hopefully by next time I can finally kind of complete this collection, close it out. Moving down here, this is the Spider-Man shelf. So we have Spider-Man and Black Suit Spider-Man from the very, very long ago Spider-Man 3. We have Peter Parker from Far From Home, as well as the famous Night Monkey costume, and Mysterio. So what I'm hoping to do is when the No Way Home figures start coming out, I want to dedicate this shelf to No Way Home, because I think Hot Toys have announced about 6 figures from that movie so far, and all these are going to move into what will eventually be a Phase 4 shelf that is going to go up here. So coming down here, this is the new video game shelf. We've got a Nate from Fallout 4, as well as his trusty canine companion Dogmeat, as well as a Nuka-Cola Power Armor and the brand new Arthur Morgan figure. So this figure is amazing, from Red Dead 2. For those of you that have not picked it up yet, I couldn't recommend this figure highly enough. Like, this is one of the few figures that when you pick it up, you really do feel like you're holding a premium item. I know maybe it's just because I've bought so many of these things that kind of the glitz and glamour of buying one has kind of worn off a bit, but Arthur Morgan changed this. Every single possible accessory that you could want, he comes with. So if you haven't picked him up yet, I would highly recommend giving him a look, as well as the eventual John Marston figure that they just announced. Moving down here, we got another video game shelf. These are all of the Assassins that I think it was Damn Toys put out. Unfortunately, though, they lost the license, so this is probably going to be it. We've got Connor Kenway, Ezio Auditore from Part 2, Altair, Edward Kenway, Shay Cormac. We've got the old Ezio from Revelations, Bayek, and of course, Aguilar from the film. Not the best film in the world, but it was an awesome figure. Some of you guys are probably thinking to yourselves, hey, where's Alexios? So I do have him. You will see him in a minute. He is just kind of so... There's so many of these figures that I had to put him somewhere else, but don't worry, he's coming. So coming over here to the horror shelf, we have got 2 versions of Michael Myers. We've got a custom from 1978, as well as this new version from the 2018 film. I think I told you guys last time that when these figures were first announced, they were really cheap looking. The promo pictures did not do them justice, but I finally saw one for sale at a convention, and all of them are really good. You know, they're proportioned well, the bodies and the accessories are made really well. They look really amazing in hand. So if you haven't had a chance to check out one for yourself, and if you're a fan of Michael Myers, I would definitely recommend giving these figures a look, and maybe some of the other figures that Trick or Treat Studios ends up making. We've got Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead back there, from way back when I was a fan of that show. Pennywise from It, the Hot Toys version. I usually don't use these really big bases in my display, but this one was just so cool that I had to make an exception. Dexter Morgan from the show Dexter, which after the new season I found a newfound respect for, as well as Ash Williams from Evil Dead, of course, carrying his famous boomstick. And this Sam from Trick or Treat and Chucky, they are not technically 1/6 scale figures, but they are cool enough that, I figure they fit in well enough. Coming up here, we have the last, or I guess second to last video game shelf with Joel and Ellie. 3 versions of Nathan Drake from Part 2, 3, and 4, as well as that Alexios from Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I mentioned earlier. Now coming up here, we have the TV show character shelf, featuring, something just fell over, Walter White and Jesse from Breaking Bad, Sherlock Holmes from Sherlock, although a new version of this has been announced. I'm definitely going to make the upgrade because this figure, while it was good for its time, is definitely showing its age. As well as the brand new Rocketeer figure replacing the custom I made way back in the day. The one negative thing about this figure, it is gorgeous. You can actually see the jetpack attaches to the figure. The one negative thing, and you can see it right now, is that he refuses to hold his pistol well in his hand. It is very loose, it falls out all the time. But other than that, this figure is gorgeous, and I can't recommend it highly enough, especially if you're a fan of the movie. Oh, and of course, my old Doctor House figure. Moving up here, we have got the Film Legends series with James Bond, Marty McFly, Harry Potter, and Indiana Jones wearing the brand new custom outfit I got for him. Mostly fits okay, except for this jacket, kind of bulky. Not a huge fan of it, but if I was willing to upgrade the outfit once, what's another jacket? Now, Marty, you may notice something a little bit different. So he is actually wearing the brand new head sculpt from the brand new version of Marty. This is actually all the 2015 version with the brand new head sculpt. I was afraid that the skin tone wouldn't match, but honestly, at the end of the day, I think it looks pretty good and is definitely a good upgrade. But I do have a confession to make. I liked it so much that I actually went and bought the full figure. So here he is up here. And I gotta say, definitely worth the upgrade. Moving over here to Game of Thrones, we've got the Hound, Ned Stark, Tywin Lannister, Jaime and Cersei Lannister, Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, and Tyrion Lannister. Down here, Guardians shelf, still the same as before, with Groot, Yondu, Star-Lord, Baby Groot, Drax, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon. Headed down here to Terminator, no change, and unfortunately still no Kyle Reese figure yet, with the T-800, the T-1000, the T-800 from Part 2, lovingly known as Uncle Bob, as well as Sarah and John Connor. Down here in the Supernatural shelf, we've got two versions of Dean Winchester, the official version put out by 3-0, and my custom. And I gotta tell you, even all these years on, I still think my custom is a little bit better. Sam Winchester, John Winchester, and Castiel, still waiting on a head sculpt for him someday. Moving over here to the Bookshare character shelf, we've got two versions of Hannibal Lecter, one from Silence of the Lambs and one from the TV show. We have got Wesley from The Princess Bride, Michael Carpenter and Harry Dresden from The Dresden Files, and Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Of course, Michael and Harry from The Dresden Files are custom figures, as well as all the figures on this next shelf, which is my Cosmere shelf. So for those of you that have not watched my previous videos, I am a massive fan of Brandon Sanderson and the Cosmere world he has created. So hopefully a few of you out there may recognize these. We've got Wax and Wayne from the Alloy of Law series, Kaladin Stormblast from the Stormlight Archive, wearing a brand new coat I commissioned for him. Probably gonna have to replace the rest of those that outfit though, because I gotta say, now that I've gotten the custom coat, the rest of the outfit just doesn't really hold a candle to it. Beautiful work by Gee Whiz Tailoring, as well as Elend, Vin, and Kelsier from the Mistborn series. Moving up here to Harry Potter, we have got Harry, Dumbledore, Snape, Voldemort, Bellatrix Lestrange, Sirius Black, and Hermione, as well as Dobby and a couple of the pets. Now moving up here to the Power Rangers shelf, these are all brand new. These are all the brand new 3-0 figures. They, overall, I think are a huge upgrade compared to the previous Star Ace versions. However, something about these helmets looks kind of wonky. Can't really put my finger on it. But either way, there is Tommy, Jason, another version of Tommy as the White Ranger, Zach, Billy, Kimberly, Trini, and Lord Draken. Moving over here to the Superman shelf, we have Clark Kent and Lex Luthor from Smallville. Never been a huge fan of this Clark Kent body though, so want to try and replace it. Christopher Reeve Superman and Henry Cavill. I'm also going to probably try and get the Brandon Routh So-So Toys version from Crisis on Infinite Earths and see if I can fit him in here as well. Firefly, we have got River, Kaylee, Simon, Wash, Zoe, Jane, and of course the Dear Captain himself, Malcolm Reynolds. Now moving down here, this is just kind of a random superhero shelf. We have got Rorschach from Watchmen, Deadpool, as well as, I'm blanking, Colossus, that's his name. Forgot that for a second. And two versions of Wonder Woman from the first movie. Fortunately, probably not going to be getting anything from the second movie though, because quite frankly, it was a bit of a disappointment. And moving down here to the last shelf on the side, we have Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson. We have Jack Harper from Oblivion. We have Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. Harry Hart from Kingsman, as well as Bruce Willis as John McClane himself from Die Hard. Moving over here to the Star Wars area slash sci-fi, we have got the New Hope shelf with Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, R2-D2, and C-3PO. Down here, you might recognize one new figure. We have got two versions of Luke from Empire, as well as Boba Fett, Lando, Princess Leia, and Yoda. And a custom Han Solo and Carbonite back there. I was going to get the Sideshow version until I saw the price. It is a good piece, but quite frankly, it's not worth $250. But luckily, this recast that someone put up on eBay gets the job done fine. Down here, we've got Count Dooku, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon from Part 1. And then down here, on the Force Awakens shelf, we have Finn, Old Han, Rey, Kylo Ren, and a First Order Stormtrooper, as well as BB-8. Moving over here, we have got Kylo Ren, Rey, Luke, and Training Rey. And then up here, we have Anakin and Obi-Wan, as well as the Mythos Obi-Wan from Sideshow, Han from Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Jyn Erso from Rogue One. Up here in the Star Wars sequel shelf, we have the Emperor, the Emperor's Guard, Darth Vader, Luke in Jedi robes, which is a figure that is not amazing. When the new version of The Mandalorian comes out, I'm probably going to replace it. And a third-party slave Leia. And then finally, rounding out Star Wars, or at least the original movies, we have Obi-Wan, Pilot Luke, Grand Moff Tarkin, a Stormtrooper, and Darth Vader. Now, moving over here, I tried to sort of consolidate all my sci-fi characters here. So we have got the Doctors, we have got the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and War Doctors. So one really cool thing that happened in the past few months is I actually got to meet David Tennant at a Philadelphia Comic-Con. And I got to meet him again at Boston Comic-Con a few months later. Really nice dude. I mean, he didn't have a super huge amount of time to talk just because so many people wanted to meet him. But definitely a huge thing crossed off my bucket list. You got to sign that poster for me over there, and I am super stoked that I got to meet him. Now, moving down here, we see the beginnings of a Mandalorian shelf with the Mandalorian, the Armorer Priestess, as well as a Darth Maul from Solo. Technically, it doesn't go with the Mandalorian, but I needed to put him somewhere, and I don't know, I think he fits in well enough here. Moving down here, from the Boba Fett TV show, we have two versions of Boba Fett, one while he is with the Tusken Raiders, as well as back in his armor, and a Tusken Raider. And finally, down here, we have sort of the classic sci-fi shelf, with Spock and Captain Kirk from Star Trek, the first and third Doctor, a custom William Adama, and Captain Picard. Moving over here, we have a bunch of Power Rangers figures, basically just all the figure arts as well as the Tamashii Nations figures. Moving down here, we have the Age of Ultron shelf with Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Quicksilver. This version of Vision, even though it's a few years old, still holds up. I actually think it turned out a little bit better than the most recent one. And then moving down here, the Civil War shelf. Still haven't been able to get these guys to breathe a little bit more. We have Spider-Man, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Ant-Man. This was a very tiny Ant-Man on Hawkeye's arrow. The Iron Man Mark 46, I think it is. Black Widow, War Machine, Falcon, and, of course, Captain America himself. Finally, moving down here, we have the original Avengers. With back there, we have Bruce Banner, the Hulk. We have Thor, as well as the brand new version of the 2012 Captain America. Definitely a huge upgrade. I wasn't so sure about upgrading at first, but now that I saw the two next to each other, this one is definitely a huge improvement. The die-cast Iron Man Mark 7, Hawkeye, and Loki. And down here, we have the SHIELD trio with Nick Fury, Phil Coulson, and Maria Hill, as well as Stan Lee, Loki from Thor the Dark World, as well as Ant-Man from the very first movie. Now, one thing you may have noticed in this new room is that the ceilings are actually a lot lower, which means I lost a lot of vertical space for displaying Iron Man. But fear not, because I found a solution. It still means I lose a little bit of space overall, but I still think it works. So let's head over here and see what we got. So moving up here, we see the Iron Man in the brand new location with the Marks 1 through 6 in the first two Iron Man movies. All of them in the diecast version, except for the Mark 1, because I don't believe the diecast version for that is out yet. And quite frankly, I don't think it's worth the upgrade. As well as the Silver Centurion, the Heartbreaker armor. And I think this is the shotgun armor from Part 3. Custom Tony Stark, as well as the Mark 47 from Spider-Man. I'm blanking on the name right now. It's been a very late night. And the Mark 43 from Iron Man 3. We've got War Machine Mark 1 and 2, as well as the Iron Patriot. And we also have the Mark II Autopsy suit. Now moving over here, this is not a 1/6 figure, but I think it's close enough that it fits in well. We've got a statue of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. We've got a Weeping Angel, as well as a Beauty and the Beast Belle. And this strapping young lad is actually me. I had this made at Mall of America a few years back. Moving over here, also not figures, but these are just a few of my Power Rangers collection. I wear this helmet when I do Green Ranger cosplay at conventions, as well as a few of the various morphers the show has used throughout the years. And finally, moving over here, this is a brand new figure. This is actually the comedian from Watchmen. I got him only a couple days ago. Still haven't really found a place for him in the collection yet, so until then, he's just chilling with Marty McFly in the DeLorean. Now, finally, for these shelves up top, unfortunately, like I said, we have no more Iron Man up there just due to lower ceilings. We have got Doctor Strange, Hela, Thor from Ragnarok, as well as Loki from Ragnarok/Infinity War, the Anniversary Stealth Captain America, Black Panther from the first movie, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, as well as Black Panther's dad, T'Chaka, Captain Marvel, Killmonger, and Peter Parker from first Spider-Man movie, and the Ancient One from Doctor Strange. Over here, we have got the Infinity War shelf with Iron Man Mark 50, the Iron Spider, Thor and Doctor Strange, Thanos from Infinity War, Rocket and Groot, the War Machine Mark 4, Winter Soldier, and Nomad from Infinity War. Did he ever go by that name? Honestly, I can't remember. Moving over here, so this shelf has filled out quite a bit since the last time I showed you guys. At this point, it is more or less complete. So this is the Endgame shelf. We have Wasp, Ant-Man, the Pepper Potts Rescue Armor, Nebula, the War Machine Mark 5. We've got the Ronin, kind of a mashup of looks, but I like the way it turned out. The Iron Man with a custom head sculpt, the Professor Hulk, Captain America with Mjolnir, and Black Widow. Now finally, moving over here for our very last shelf. This is from the Spider-Man video games. Now, as you can see, we pretty much filled this shelf up, so luckily they haven't really announced any more of these. There's the Miles Morales Bodega suit, but other than that, that's pretty much it, and I'm probably not going to get that. It's just too similar. So we have got the Spider-Man, the Scarlet Spider, the classic suit Spidey, which turned out beautifully, Miles Morales, as well as Spider-Man 2099, the Anti-Ox suit, the, I always call him the Spider Pirate, I kind of forgot what his official name was, the Iron Spider Mark IV, the Iron Spider, the Negative suit, as well as the Spider Noir suit. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. As you could probably tell, it's pretty full up right now. We've got a bunch of Back to the Future figures coming out in the next year, as well as a lot of figures from Phase 4. So I guess my plan right now is I'm going to get another one of these shelves and kind of fit it right there. The DeLorean and Marty will have to go somewhere else. But other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. So leave a comment if you like this. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. But thank you so much for dropping by, and I promise you, I swear to God, my next collection video, you will not have to wait almost a year for it. So anyway, guys, have a great night, and please make sure to like. Thanks.